Many times, changes to our educational system have begun with new structures or policies, only to fail because the core experience of the learner didn't change. We believe that changes to policy are the last phase of the change process because the strength and purpose of policy is to stabilize a system and practices. Only when an organization begins to significantly bump up against existing structures, such as report cards, decision-making models, and bell schedules, should they consider changes to these areas. We have found out from experience that when you start with structure and policy, rather than learning and teaching, it's very difficult to move forward and effect real, lasting change to the educational experience.
So when we personalize learning, we're really trying to meet the needs of all learners. We've moved into a standards-based grading system, and the standards-based grading system has really allowed us to look at all students' strengths and where the areas of improvement are. And it really allows us to be able to differentiate what the kids' needs are. I think that the structures have changed within the building a lot when we're personalizing learning. One that I'd really like to focus on is the RTI management. Typically, students who are recommended for Tier 2 or Tier 3 have really received services outside of the classroom in addition to their current math or language arts classes. With personalizing the learning, we're really meeting the student where they're at, so we're really trying to embed those practices within the classroom as well. And it's also allowing us to meet those kids who maybe are potentially on the bubble and might eventually get into those Tier 2 or Tier 3, and we're really meeting the needs within the classroom so they never get to that point.
When I think back to the schooling that I had when I was in K-12 education, it was very prescribed where the teacher was in the front of the room dictating the content, dictating the pace, dictating everything about what we're doing in class. Whereas now on a building, since we've gone on the journey toward personalization, we as a staff, we've been able to try and hone in on the skills that are needed for the individual learner. So by doing that, it just enables more of a personalized approach system-wide. I am part of a resources leadership committee where we are able to basically decide as teachers exactly how we can allocate and use some of the resources within our building. We've talked about potentially changing up, say, staff meetings, or changing up distributive leadership, or changing up anything that really comes to mind through the use of surveys or through the use of informal questioning of the staff.
We've really changed how we evaluate our students. It's all about looking at the standards and are they proficient? What do we need to do to get them there? I think it's interesting. Kids will come to me and they're really already proficient in what I've wanted them to learn. So in having conversations with them, I'm able to figure out what their goal is and what do they want to learn, and I can help them on their journey.